everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Zoe, but most people know me as ZAREPTILES, and today is going to be the part 2 of my work Q&A, because like I said in part 1, I posted that I was going to do this right before coming to work, and so I only was able to get like 3 people to submit questions by the time I was going to film, but 2 of those 3 people asked like 5 questions each, so I figured instead of having a really long video, we'll just do 2 parts. So I filmed that part 1 and then just waited to see what I would get, and of course later that night and the next morning was when all the other questions came in. So this is part 2 with all those other questions. You can see this time we're filming during the day. I'm the only one here today. It's a Sunday, which means it's not a feeding day, it's not a tank cleaning day, so my workload is very minimal today. So we're gonna sit here and film a Q&A. So I've got my phone, we're gonna pull up Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and go through all of the new questions that we have not answered yet. Okay, so starting with my Instagram post, Casey's Critters asks, I have a question. What types of animals do you normally work with? What are your favorite and least favorite things you have to do for your job? So a lot of these I kind of talked about in part 1, but we'll answer them again for this part 2 for those of you that missed part 1. So what type of animals do I normally work with? Here we are only allowed to have herps and fish. So lots of fish and lots of herps, mainly turtles. We do have a couple frogs, a toad, some red F's, a mud puppy, and then lots of fish. So a lot of them that are native to New York. Pumpkin seed, bluegill, perch. We do have sturgeon. I love the sturgeon, and the long-nosed gar, love them. We have a couple eels, crayfish. So my favorite would definitely be the animal care. Some aspects of the animal care. I quite enjoy doing water changes in the tanks and like cleaning the tanks. It's just very relaxing. I get to be in my own little bubble. I usually put on some headphones and play some music or listen to a podcast or something. So I enjoy that. Least favorite, filter socks. I hate filter socks. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen all my dislike for filter socks posted in my stories. Filter socks would be my least favorite. So all of our big tanks, you can hear our pond in the background, our rivers in the exhibit hall. All of those big tanks, part of the filtration are these ginormous sock looking things. And when they're full, you have to pull them and clean them, hang them up to dry, put a new one, and just there's a repeat process. And they're just so annoying, and it's just not a fun time. I'm doing better with it now that I actually bring headphones with me to work so I can listen to a podcast or something actually here over the running water. So it's not as bad now, but filter socks I think is definitely my least favorite part. So I'm gonna show you guys real quick another favorite part of my job. Oh my gosh, why is this all falling out? What is happening? Oh my god. Okay, hold on, never mind, I'm spilling sunflower seeds everywhere. All right, let's check this one. Oh, it sounds like it's gonna explode too. What the heck? Okay, we're gonna go real quick. Okay, so now that I've made a mess all the floor, I've got my sunflower seed, and we're gonna go check out one of my other favorite parts of my job. So another part of my job is essentially being a Disney princess. So I'm surrounded by little birds and squirrels and wildlife all the time, and basically I just be a little Disney princess out here, so I'll show you guys what I mean. Also, welcome to New York. It is 16 inches deep out here in the snow. So I'm probably going to sink right down. Ooh, I'm wearing ankle socks. This was a bad idea. So you can see how deep the deer footprints go. Very deep. Things I do to be a Disney princess. Oh, and there's snow in my boot. Hello there. Oh, we've got a bluebird fight. Oh, and there's a woodpecker up there. It never gets old. Well, hello there. You're such a little chicken nugget. Eat all the seeds, all you want. Oh, we've got 2. Hello. Oh, that was so exciting. I've never had one sit there that long. Usually they take a seed and run. See, and now all their friends know. So now they're all gonna come see me. I wish I could get birds besides chickadees, but chickadees are the only ones that seem to come over to us. It'd be so cool to get like a blue jay or a cardinal. Are you ready for some more? So if you live somewhere where it's really snowy and cold, if you have chickadees, you might be able to do this too. They prefer sunflower seeds is what we've found. And you want to be far away from bird feeders because they'll always choose a bird feeder over you. So coming way off to the woods by the trees, and just holding very still and nice and quiet. Sometimes the higher you hold your hand up, the better, because it just kind of disassociates it from you. They're starting to land on my hand with it being closer to me now, because I've been out here for a little while, so they all know what I have now. They've seen that they can come get seed from me, and I'm not going to eat them. Got a couple squirrels watching me too. But yeah, so chickadees are the only birds we've gotten to do this with. We haven't gotten any other birds to land on our hands. I love doing this with kids and families and bringing them out and showing them that you can do this and how to do it. My favorite thing is actually putting birdseed on kids' hats in the winter and having them land on their heads. It's pretty fun. This doesn't really work. This doesn't really work in summer or like spring and fall because there's plenty of food to go around. It's more so in the winter where food is kind of, oh, he just landed on my camera. It's more so in the winter when food is scarce that they'll trust humans enough to come and get food from them because there's not a whole lot of food around. So that was so cute. I wish I had my phone so I could have taken a picture of him landing on my camera. That was pretty cute. Okay, well, I'm a little cold, so I think I'm gonna go inside now. So here you go. We're just gonna toss a seed. So we already answered that one in part 1. Okay, so Brooke, I'm sorry if I pronounced any names wrong. Brooke Bonnywell asks, is there a certain age you have to be to work at a zoo or a nature center? So to work at a facility, the minimum would definitely be your state's like minimum age. For New York, it's 16, so if you're not 16, you legally can't really get a job unless it's like a family business type of thing. And it's rules that, you know, rules that I don't understand, that I don't need to understand basically, but our minimum working age is 16. Once you're 16, you can get your working papers and you can get a job. And then as far as like working at a zoo, I mean our nature center, a lot of nature centers have like part-time, so they might take younger kids, like we take high schoolers for our part-timers, but like a zoo, working in a zoo is competitive enough that the younger you are, the trickier it's going to be to get a job because you're going to be competing with older applicants that have been in the field longer and have more experience. So I would say to work at a zoo, probably the minimum age for your state, but the reality is you're going to be competing with people that are older and have more experience. So I would worry less about age and worry more about your experience. Get all the experience you can, help yourself get a really good solid resume that looks impressive, and then apply. A lot of places do have volunteer stuff for younger kids and like teenagers, so you could always probably do like a volunteer thing, check out like a docent program at your zoo. So there is like volunteer things that you can definitely do. Okay, Mermaid Heather asks, what do you find the most rewarding with this job compared to other animal related jobs? So definitely the fact that we are a very small staff facility. We have 4 of us, including my director. I'm the one that's in charge of animal care, so that's definitely the most rewarding part for me, is that I get to be in charge of what it is that I'm passionate about and what I wanted to do for work, which was care for animals, animal husbandry, educate on animals. So the fact that I get to be in charge of all of that is extremely rewarding for me compared to other animal related jobs where, you know, if you go to a zoo like I talked about in my first video, I was low man on the totem pole. It takes years being in a zoo to grow and climb that ladder, because there's always going to be more senior keepers above you that have been there longer. So I definitely, with this job, was able to advance much quicker than I would have if I stayed working in a zoo. Okay, Mermaid Heather also asks, what is your day-to-day routine at the nature center? So I think I briefly talked about this a little bit in part 1, but I'll say it again because I don't think it was like an exact question. I don't remember. So my day-to-day routine at the nature center, I come in the morning. We have a checklist for opening that we all take part in doing and checking things off on, but my main thing is walking around making sure all of the animals look good, their lights are on, their filters are working, checking the life support room in the back and making sure the bigger filters are working. Everything looks good, the filter socks aren't full. If they are, then I have to pull them. So that's my main task in the morning. And then of course we've got things like turning on all of the fun activities, making sure everything is set for the day. But yeah, making sure animals have clean water, that their misters are filled. So a lot of the animal care stuff is like what I do first thing in the morning. And then throughout the day, it's either what's on my animal care to-do list, whether it's feeding animals, cleaning enclosures, doing water quality, cleaning filter socks, and then it's interacting with the public. So anyone that comes in the exhibit hall and the classroom, you know, I might take out a turtle to show them, teach them about some of the animals we've got, answer any questions, do some activities with them. And if it's winter, we've got skiing and snowshoeing, I'll hand out rentals throughout the day. So that's pretty much what my day looks like. And then Casey's Critters asked another question, but in my story, and says, favorite animal you've worked with? I think this was in part 1 too. So you guys know, Donut. Donut is my boy, our snapping turtle. He's the love of my life. Donut was like the main thing I was excited for when I decided to move back home and take the job here. I was most excited to come back and be with Donut again. Okay, so thank you guys for your questions there. Let me check Twitter. I don't remember if I had questions on Twitter or not, and then we'll check YouTube. I think I got another question on YouTube, but I don't really remember. Okay, so no questions there. And then the last place to check was YouTube. Oh, we have a lot more comments on YouTube since the last time I checked. So All the Exotics asks, I'm sorry if this is too late, but how did you get the position in climate? That's a really, really good question, and not too late. So I think this question was asked literally when I was done filming part 1, which is why I was like, I need a part 2 because this is a good question. So how did I get this position? If you guys have been following me for a while, you know I actually started out here as a part-timer. When I graduated college, I actually graduated a semester early. So I took the spring semester. I moved back home and focused on my figure skating because I'm a figure skater. I was competing and whatnot, and I had some goals that I wanted to try to work for. So I took the spring semester to move home, back in with my parents, and focus on my figure skating. So of course I needed a job, and I really wanted to get a job within my field because I was waiting to apply for zoo jobs. So the reason I didn't go right from college to applying for jobs in the zoo was because we had a cruise planned in February and I graduated in December. So I didn't want to like move away, get a new job, and be like, oh, but I do need like 2 weeks off for this vacation. I know you just hired me, but like I need 2 weeks off. So I didn't want to do that. So I decided I would hang out at home and skate, find a job here in town, and then after the cruise, I would start applying to jobs. So we live in a very small town. So the nature center is the like only thing here that is remotely within my field and my degree. We do have a Humane Society, but they never respond to me. I don't know if they even have jobs. I don't know if it's all volunteer. I don't know. I contacted them a million times and never heard back. So yeah, but my best friend's sister actually works here part-time, and she had been here for like a year or so. And so I contacted her. I was like, yeah, like, how do you like it? And she's like, oh my gosh, like, it's so great. So she put in a good word for me. I contacted the director. Luckily, I had a little bit of an in because when I was a senior in high school, I actually won the scholarship that the Nature Center does. So I was able to be like, hey, like, it's your scholarship winner from 2015. But I also told them, you know, this is what my degree is, this is what my experience is, here's my resume. And because it's a very small staff facility, she actually got right back to me and said, you know, unfortunately we don't have any job openings right now. And then literally the next day, she emailed me. I was like, actually, can you come in and like bring your resume with you? So I was like, sure, okay, yeah. So I moved back home and came in with my resume. I don't think she even really looked at it. She just told me what the job was and kind of asked what it was I was looking for within a job, what it was I wanted to do. So we were very clear in the understanding that this was a temporary position for me because I would be applying to zoos and leaving. And that was totally fine because it was coming into winter, it was coming into the ski and snowshoe season, so they needed the extra hands, which is why they're like, oh, you know what, you know, ski and snowshoe season is gonna be really busy, you know, we could use another person, especially one from the animal field, because no one else here is from the animal field. So my director is more from the animal field than my other coworkers. Her best friend is the director of a wild center and does like all the animal care and rehab and falconry and everything. So she's been pretty involved in that in the past. But as far as like the zoo field and like actually like going to school for this kind of work, that's all me. So she hired me and she actually tasked me with researching turtle diets and changing up our turtles' diets. So that was a pretty cool task for me. You know, I just got hired as like this little seasonal part-timer, and she's like, here's this big task, I want you to take over turtle diets, I want you to change it, make them better. So that was a really cool thing for me. And then, you know, so her goal was to give me opportunities that I could put on a resume that would make me look really good when I started applying to zoos. So changing and researching the turtle diets, doing educational programs, interacting with the public, doing field trips and school groups. So that was kind of our agreement, was that she would bring me on until I got a zookeeper position, and she would give me all these things that would make me look really good. And ultimately it did make me look really good, but not for a zookeeper position. It made me look really good for an educator position. So the zoo I applied to, I ended up getting denied the keeper position. It was down to like the last of us. According to what she told me in my interview, she narrowed it down to like 2 people, me and someone else. And then I come to find out later, they ditched the position I was applying to, so I was told I didn't get it, but then later I found out that it wasn't even the position, they ditched it during the interviews. I don't know. I was very confused. I don't know. But, so I got denied that, and literally the next day they called me. I was like, but we want you as an educator. So I'm pretty sure they denied me a keeper position because they needed someone in education, because they were coming into summer camp time and they needed people in the education department. And my background looks very good for education. I've been a skating coach for over a decade. This job was essentially the same thing I'd be doing in the education department. So that's where I ended up. So it was a good experience. You know, I never planned on being a zoo educator, but I did it and I learned a lot from it, like a lot. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things, but you guys all know the story, so I'm not gonna like go nuts with it. But I moved away from home. I was living on my own, completely independent financial wise, and so you don't make a lot working in a zoo. I budgeted well, so I was able to live comfortably for me. Well, I say comfortably, decently comfortably. With me and my animals at the time, I think I had like 12 animals. So we lived comfortably, but I could not afford to figure skate, and the coaching times conflicted with my work schedule. So I was ultimately miserable because skating is a huge part of me, and if I can't skate, then I'm just miserable. So I had planned to move back home, and I really wanted to work here, but I knew that there probably wasn't a chance that I'd be able to get a full-time position here. I have to come back part-time. Because they already had 4 full-timers, you know, including my director. And we're a very small facility. But one night, my boss texted me and letting me know that one of the guys that worked here got accepted for like another position, something that he was going for, just kind of outside this field, in a different field, and in a different direction. And so she was just letting me know out of like common courtesy, because we knew that he had been applying things and he kept getting denied. So she texted me, was like, hey, just letting you know, like, he finally like got this opportunity, so he turned in his 2 weeks today. And I was like, hold up, I want his job. I've been meaning to email you. I want his job. And she knew how badly I wanted to work in a zoo. So at first she was kind of like, are you pulling my leg? Like, are you kidding? I was like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, I want to move home and I want to come back and work there. Because thinking back on it, when I was a part-timer here, like, I loved my job here. I loved working here. And at the zoo, I liked working with the animals. My coworkers in education were great, but ultimately the job, just, I was not into it. Where I liked working here. So she was like, heck, can you come back like now? Like, well, you come back right now. I'm like, okay, sure. So that's how that happened. And then because of my background, because I was going to be full-time now, so I needed to take over something, and because of my background and my experience, they were like, here, you get animal care, have fun, do whatever, just make the animals' lives better, make them good, make them better, put things on a routine, make sure everything's good. So that's what I did. So I know that was really long, but that's how I got into this position and how I got up to the position of being head of animal care. Okay, so anyway, like I was saying, not really the traditional way of growing in the animal field and getting positions. Normally you have to build a lot of experience, start out low on the totem pole, and slowly over the years build your way up. I got very fortunate that I'm only, I was like a year out of college when I got this full-time position as head of animal care. So that's not typical, that's not usual, so I'm very fortunate and I'm very lucky that I got this opportunity. So Jay Hall asked, what does your job install? In a bit of detail, please. So it's kind of one of the first questions I answered was like, what's my day-to-day look like? So we'll jump over that because I've answered that a couple times now. But thank you for your question. I hope that my earlier answer answers your question. And then triple digit dem, what is a naturalist? LOL. So I like this question because people always think I mean naturist or a nudist. I'm not. I'm a naturalist, so I teach people about the environment, conservation. I encourage people to participate in outdoor recreation, so that type of stuff. So thank you to those who submitted questions for both part 1 and this part 2. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below and I will answer them right in the comments for you. I probably won't do a part 3, but if you have more questions, I'll answer them in the comments below. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more videos, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye!